I'm CEO of PRG Projects, and PRG Projects is the company that designs and develops special applications and special video screens for the concert touring industry in general. PRG Projects is located in 3 different countries. On one hand, we're in Belgium, where most of the people that work at PRG Projects originate from. On the other hand, we have an office in Shenzhen in China, because we cooperate a lot with Chinese companies for sourcing and developing technology. And we're also located in Los Angeles, because that's where our biggest market is, the concert touring market, basically. Well, PRG Projects, in fact, originally was called System Technologies. But with all the consolidations going on, happening in the video screen market, we changed name a couple of times when we made alliances with different companies. So at some point, for instance, we were part of Barco. At some point, we were part of an English group, then in cooperation with a different American group. But as the market field has been changing, we had to make different alliances with different partners. Because at the end of the day, video screen technology is a very new field. In mid-80s, video screens were just some iMac, big cloths somewhere next to the stage, with a huge projector projecting on it, and the projector had to be heated up 3 hours before the show to be able to project an image which was hardly visible in those days. So it's really in the late 80s that the technology started developing, and since, call it the late 80s, early 90s, we have been through huge technological phases until where we are now with high resolution, almost see-through screens. U2 has always been looking for novelty, looking for innovation, and trying to bring new technology or new applications with technology for their audience. And they were also really the first ones who really took that entire culture of MTV onto the stage. Before U2, the video screens were used for IMAX. With U2, suddenly you had all these flashy images that were actually supporting the acts. Our very first big project was U2 Zuropa, which was the 200 cubes that went on tour in 1993, which is now exactly 25 years ago. So that was the very first project. The second big one then was PopMart, 96. In between, we have been working on screens for people like Phil Collins, etc. And later on, we went into the field of the what we call spectaculars, which is opening ceremonies of Olympic Games, etc. But basically, the fil rouge through our entire career has been all the U2 tours. So we developed the video screens for most of the U2 tours since 1993. For me, the biggest step was PopMart. That is when LED was used for the very first time on stage. So suddenly we were able, just to go back a little bit in time, Zoo TV was less than 100 square meters of video screen and needed 9 trucks to transport it. With the introduction of LED at PopMart, we had 800 square meters of video screen in only 2 trucks. So that was the big step done between Zoo TV and PopMart. And that has opened so much possibilities for concert touring and video in concert touring. It was a giant step. That was the biggest step. The second big step, I think, was U2 360. It's the zenith of of rock and roll madness. This big claw with the huge collapsing video screen, that was absolutely a chef-d'oeuvre. Joshua Tree Tour was, compared to PopMart for instance, the Joshua Tree Tour screen was about the same size. PopMart was a bit over 700 square meter, Joshua Tree was, I believe, close to 800. But where PopMart was a pixel pitch of close to 100 millimeter, meaning 100 millimeter between every single pixel, almost 10 centimeters. On Joshua Tree that was 8 millimeter. So sometimes suddenly you get that explosion of pixels, and the images shown on Joshua Tree, shot by Anton Corbijn, were absolutely so beautiful in resolution and in color depth. There's no comparison with U2 PopMart, except for the size, of course. So packaging the technology has been through big evolutions as well. How do we transport video screens? How do we set them up? With Joshua Tree, or for Joshua Tree, we developed a new structure called space frame. Because going back in time now to the early 90s, we managed to make video screens thinner and lighter, and we were always extremely happy that we could make a screen again 10% less heavy, and we thought we were doing good, but in fact what we were doing was we were shifting a problem from our camp into the camp of the staging company, because suddenly the screens are not capable of taking any wind loads anymore. So we are asking the staging company to supply us with all the trussing, etc., to support our video screens. What we have done with Space Frame is made a structure for video screens, which is now even less in weight, because we made it in carbon fiber, but it had the entire wind support incorporated, so that we had a saving in the screen weight, but a huge saving now in weight on structure and installation time on structure. So that was a win for both camps there. So I think that Space Frame has opened a new way of thinking about installing video screens. So the stage setup for this tour, Experience and Innocence, is basically very similar to the previous ones, Innocence and Experience. But here the designers want to add quite a bit of new features, moving catwalks and so on. So one of the main concerns was weight. So we got asked to look at a screen technology that would weigh less. And then we proposed technology which was extremely transparent. Same transparency as the screen before, but had 10 times the pixel resolution as the 2015 screen. So that is basically the evolution between 2015 and 2018, is again less weight, but 10 times the pixel resolution per square area.
This time we have a moving catwalk which can move up and down at any angle from about 40 degrees to 0 to flat. And we have a slightly different screen now, so we have a better quality screen, I would say. It's pure 10, so it's 10 mil as opposed to, I think it was 15 mil last time. So the see-throughness is fantastic on the screen. And the weight is, we've lost up, I think, 30% weight, which then allows all the other people to add the other mechanics in for the moving parts in the screen. So the other parts of the screen are at this end, just behind me here. We have a staircase that comes down onto the stage here that we're standing on. At the far end, they have what we call the guillotine, which is a lowering platform. And then in the screen, we have a drum kit which tracks up and down with the catwalk itself as well and stays inside the screen. So obviously the main weight is the main billboard screen in the middle. I'd say it's just over 20 tons. So that's quite different to have 20 tons in the middle of an arena. Usually it's all down one end or maybe a little bit over this end, but we're kind of spread right down the middle of the room. So so that's different. That's quite heavy for a video screen, but it's not really a video screen because there's lots of other components in there. There's lighting, there's moving parts, there's gags in there, and then the 4 band members as well. So it does do quite a lot for that. We have 15 columns as we break it down, 15 columns and 8 rows, and that all packs down into a truck and a half for the video system only. Then there's special trussing, which has its own truck, and then the catwalk, which has another truck as well. So, and that can load out in about just under 3 hours. So everything you see here tomorrow night will be gone in 3 hours. Sound, video, lights, the lot.
So for the B stage, we have the rolling video decks, domino as we call them nowadays. And these in fact were developed for a French band called Phoenix.
We're down at the E stage now, which is supposedly the B stage, with our new video floor. So during the show there's about 4 or 5 songs where the floor comes to life. It has this cover on it which makes it look like it isn't the floor to start with, and then it comes alive during the show. It comes on 8 dollies and packs away really neatly. I think we can de-rig it in about 35 minutes. So yesterday we loaded in, and it takes us, I think, spread over about 8 hours, we have about 5 or 6 hours of solid work for video.
So PURE10 is made in panels which are 1 meter high and 2 meter wide. They weigh 20 kilograms per panel, so we're at 10 kilograms a square meter. The panels can be rigged. There's no stacking version for it yet. And everything is calculated until screen height of 9 meter with the applicable wind loads for indoor venues. So in order to make a screen that transparent and that light, what we did is take the technology that was actually used for video in shopping malls, in windows of shopping malls, and put it in touring frames. So the PCBs, as opposed to be flat with LEDs on, in this system, the PCBs are in that direction. The LED is soldered on the edge of the PCB, so to allow for a maximum transparency. So that was an existing technology, but obviously that was made for Windows, to incorporate LED in Windows. So we basically took it apart, made a carbon fiber structure for it, and integrated everything into the carbon fiber structure. Through Spaceframe we had the experience of working with carbon fiber, so that allowed us to now develop this new structure in carbon fiber quite rapidly. Carbon fiber, by the way, who I think going forward will become the standard for any video screen structures. It's a very nice and thankful material to work with. Saving all that weight allowed to introduce moving catwalks and a lot of other features that were not there in 2015, so that the visual look of the screen could be completely different. Some moments the audience is really with their face in front of the video screen. The band's performing inside the video screen. Yeah, so I think this stage here really brings the band and the concerts inside the audience. The coexistence between video and light has now been on a stage for 20 years. And I think they're even integrating more and more. We are now releasing a product at LDI called Wall, where we have a triangular piece, a periactoid, which has one surface has a video screen, on another surface it has lights, and on a third surface it has a mirror. That system is part of a video screen, so if the screen is installed, then you just see a normal video screen, but suddenly certain elements can start rotating and become lights or mirrors. And with those mirrors, obviously, designers can work with lasers on. So I think that this type of installations will become much more frequent. So inside video screens, we will definitely start experimenting with other technologies, automation, moving pieces, sceneries inside video screens, etc. is really where it's going to for the next couple of years.